Right, next investigation. Now, taking off from the point that Babylon was founded by Nimrod, right? Yeah, a figure from the mentioned in the Bible. And from this to get obviously the idea of building the cities of Babylon and the Babylonian Empire, right? Now, he always say the Nimrod, right? British Maritime Patrol Aircraft. Right? Now, this basically relates to what I saw in person during the COVID time frame. Right? Now, when the COVID time frame was going on, we used to be in a airport pathway, right? Basically seeing these crafts, right? Quite sort of unmistakable because obviously they're massive with that needle thing sticking to the front, right? Seeing these, right, coming in and out basically every 45 minutes to an hour or something like that, right? Basically seeing them doing journeys in and out the airport, right? Like all day long, all day, every day, while that COVID thing was going on, right? And you could, if you were in the line of the airport flight path, you just seen it, right? So these things, right, were used during that COVID thing. The COVID thing was basically a cover, right, to bring in quantities of immigrants, right, and were being brought in via these aircraft. So that becomes again like the code, right? The Nimrod helped to build Babylon, right? Now, as we see here, right, Nimrod aircraft can carry a crew of up to 12 personnel, right? As you see here, its specific cargo. Its specific cargo capacity is not detailed in the available sources. Right? Now, if you're seeing these things, right, they're massive. Right? So you're talking about obviously a personnel be up the front, 12, a crew of up to 12 personnels, right? What about all this backspace, right? Obviously, if they're going around supposedly for radar and their maritime operations, as it says, right? What's all the back for, right? To me, obviously, you can stick a lot of stuff in there, right? You can get jeeps in, you can get lorries, you can drive things into there, right? This has got to be transportation, right, from all that part there, right? So your capacity for bringing in immigrants is quite large, right? All you need to do is fit it with seats. You can basically get, God knows, 900, 1,000 immigrants in one of them for one journey, right? Right. Now again, referring to the COVID, right? As we know, it was all about wearing the mask idea, right? So you have this story, the mask of the Red Death, right? Now this has got to be a lot that it was based on. The COVID, the deadly plague known as the Red Death. Prince Prospero. And the story explores themes of death, isolation. Right? And again, this is to do with our COVID and the inevitabilities of fear. Right? The mask of the Red Death. Again, look how the clock is at the 6. So your COVID thing was most definitely based on this. Now again, right, linking this story to the Babylon, and the building of Babylon, right? They take refuge in a walled abbey, right? And nobles. So again, the Babylons, right? The Babylons, the Babylons, right? So nobles, people from the noble house idea, belong to this club, this club which will not exist, right? The nobles, the Babylons, they belong to it. So basically, when you have noble house, a noble house idea, see a house of Windsor, house of De Vere, all these type of this noble house idea, right? Basically, plague on your houses is again something to do with what was going on in the COVID. That's what we're doing. So it was the noble house people were basically putting a plague on the rival houses. If you're talking about Britain or countries like that, they're putting a plague, seeing a plague on the houses of the rival people who are not part of our family, right? So the plague on your houses. And you see that plague bearer idea, So basically, again, right, this is directly related to the idea of immigrants. Right? The Exodus, led by Moses, which becomes like as I showed in another video, Moses is related to Muslim and also the Masonic ideas, right? And the plagues. Water turned to blood. So again, you're talking about something to do with the ideas that was within the COVID. Swarmed the land, invading homes. You've seen that one. You've seen that one in the stories about one of the sort of immigrants who went into someone's home, right? That would probably relate to the French idea as well. The one about how the French are sending boat people over to Calais and all that, right? So you've seen that one enacted out. Livestock disease. Again, like they're viewing the Great Replacement idea as a sort of swap of stock. Right? Swapping out the livestock for one for another. And flies. You've seen the rubbish bins. The story about the Birmingham rubbish collections, right? That's that one. So enacting out all this stuff, right, through the media and stories and all that. Right? Locusts and darkness. So they're putting these plagues onto the normal people, That's who's in charge of the authority and all that. So 10 plagues like 10 commandments. As we know, I've done many videos on this cough. The cough is to do with 19, right? 19th letter of Hebrew alphabet. So you're COVID-19. So you got your mask of the Red Death. Right? Eye of the needle, COVID, back of the head. Psalms 11:9. And 9/11. So you're always seeing the 19 terrorists. So you're always seeing the same, again, Twin Tower 11, right? You're always seeing this code, right? And it's the same thing with implementing all this biblical code. Now we see the importance of the number 10. Right? Yeah. So you've got 10 plagues, 10 commandments. Right? It's the Hebrew word child or life. Right? Number 10. Unity made of parts. Right? Completion, wholeness, and unity. Right? Number 10. So it represents a hand, right? Yod, which is basically same as God idea, represents a hand and is seen as a powerful symbol, highlighting its importance in religious and historical context, right? So the importance of 10, right? So you see Baphomet here, right? Again, same symbols on the EU, right? So you're basically talking about the hand, right? So you're basically talking about 9, 11, right? 1 down, 1 up, that's 9 and 11, right? And they're jumping over 10, right? So it's jumping over the unity and the perfection, wholeness, and all this idea, right? So it's 1 down, 1 up, 9, 11. See, so that becomes 9, 11. And the clock here facing is the same, see, 9, 11.